and thanks for joining us on Live with Squacky. I'm Val Kelly, voice actor, owner, president, CEO, and executive producer of Mid-Atlantic Voiceover LLC. I'm so excited about our special guest today. Corey Dissin is a voice talent authority. He's a podcast host and social media influencer who has a wealth of knowledge in this industry. He's a marketing coach, media manager, personal branding specialist, and motivator. So thanks so much for joining us today, Corey.
Val, what a pleasure. How cool is this? I get to hang out with Val tonight. This is awesome.
So cool. So let's dive right in. Can you start out by telling us how you got started in the industry?
Oh my goodness. I will try to tell that story as concisely as I can. But I've been in this business since before I graduated college. As a student, I met a fellow student in a particular, I guess it was some broadcasting theory class or some silly stuff like that. And I heard him bragging to a young lady how he was the board op for the All Request show at WYSP Radio in Philadelphia. And I desperately wanted to get into radio at the time. And turns out I kind of moved my chair next to that guy and became friendly with him. And he arranged for me to get an interview with the program director, a pretty well-known guy named Tim Sabian at WYSP Radio. And he interviewed me as a wet behind the ears 19-year-old kid and gave me a job answering telephones for screening phone calls for the public affairs programming on Sunday mornings at 5 a.m.
Wow.
I got paid a grand total of $0 for that privilege. But being there allowed me to interact with the staff and meet the chief engineer and the sales department and this guy and that guy. And then when it came time for me to get a real internship, it was a no-brainer. They just said, bring the form in, we'll sign it, you got it. Wound up getting an internship. And at the time, I wanted to get in radio. I wanted to be on the air. And 2 weeks into my internship, the entire air staff gets fired.
Whoa.
That really scared me. I've got a bad habit. I like to eat 3 times a day. I'm a big fan of stability. And when I saw that, I said, maybe on air isn't the ticket for me. So what's the next best thing? Well, production. And at WYSP Radio, I met the production director, a guy by the name of Paul Turner, who is a very famous voiceover talent, accomplished voiceover talent. And he was voicing for Howard Stern at the time and a bunch of radio stations, et cetera. And he kind of took me under his wing, and I became his volunteer assistant, then a part-time assistant, then a full-time assistant. Then he taught me production, and then he and I kind of ran with the business and started Paul Turner Productions, producing up spots for auto dealers and nightclubs and imaging radio stations, et cetera. And the thing just kind of snowballed. And, fast forward, here we are today. I mean, Paul Turner sold the company in 2003. And I stayed with the company. So I've been with that company. I'm in my 27th year.
Wow. That's amazing.
I'm still alive. They can't get rid of me. I'm like the furniture.
Totally. That's so cool. Oh my gosh. Like staying with the same company for such a long time is such a great experience when it's a good experience, right? So
well, you have your ups and downs at any place you work at. But I knew even at an early age, being around Paul, and I knew that he was going to create opportunities for me professionally. And I just stuck with him and stuck with the company. Like I said, not every day was roses. We've had our ups and downs, but fast forwarding now, I mean, we were sharing a studio at Infinity Broadcasting, one room, he and I, and now we have our own 5,000 square foot building with 13 production rooms, and I've got 12 full-time employees, and we produce up 600-700 TV and radio commercials a month. And to think that I had that vision. I couldn't give you the numbers, but I had that vision that one day we would have this enterprise, and it took a lot of hard work to get there.
Yeah, that's so cool. My gosh. So you do a little bit of everything, and it's so exciting. I have so many questions for you. So marketing, branding, social media, there's so much to talk about. As for marketing and branding, I guess they go hand in hand to a certain extent.
Sure.
Can you give us your top 3 tips for voice actors when it comes to self-marketing?
Okay. I will do my best to try to sum this up. And there's so many different things that voiceover talent should be doing in order to market themselves properly. A couple of things is it sounds simple enough. You have to get in there and do it
Yeah,
every day. It's not, marketing is not a passive pastime. It has to be like brushing your teeth every day. That's what I tell people. It's got to be every day. There's no off days. Marketing, and when you're done marketing, go market yourself some more. So that's the number one thing, is to constantly be doing it. And then another key point is, not every marketing message is an ask for business. That's a key thing that a lot of voiceover talent kind of make that mistake, is that your marketing is seed planting. Marketing is cultivating relationships. Marketing is getting to know people and getting them to know you. And then eventually, when they get to know you and trust you as an authority in your field or as an expert in your particular genre of voiceover, then you'll become more top of mind than the next person.
right,
So your job is to constantly keep that funnel full with information, correspondence, etc., so that your clients and your potential clients can make that decision down the road. And the last piece, obviously you have to be doing it and you have to be active, but you also have to have the stamina and the willpower and the resiliency to do it over a sustained period of time.
right.
Your marketing, and especially content marketing with social media and whatnot, I just did a video about this myself last week. It's not a transaction.
Right.
It's not like you put up a social media video or you put up a fancy meme and then all of a sudden the phone rings or an order pops up in your email. It's much more like a savings account. You have to put in your deposits week after week, month after month, and then eventually you'll accrue that interest, and that interest is the work.
Right.
You have to put in the time.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I think it's so easy to it's very easy to kind of like get going and you're on a roll and then you're doing really, really well and then you kind of like burn out because you're going so hard at it, you know what I mean?
Of course.
It's really important to, like you said, do it every day and all of those things that are really important, but also while you're doing that, also build time into your schedule to say, this is my time of the day that's time off. So I'm going to spend this much time on marketing, from whatever time to whatever time, if you have that kind of routine, and then also give yourself a point in the day when you can say, I'm not going to do anything as far as that goes, just because I need to give myself a break. Maybe that will help people not to burn out as quickly. I'm not sure. How do you feel about that?
Well, I do think it's definitely important to refresh and recharge your batteries, whether that's a simple thing like making sure to go to the gym a few times a week, or to go out and have an ice cold beer with your buddy, or whatever it is, just so you have a change of scenery so you can be fresh. But I would tell you, I'm a little old school, that, time off. What's that? Time off? Are you kidding? I mean, look, all I can do is, not everyone approaches it the same way I do, and the way that I do it is not the 100% correct way, but I do know it's my way, and I know it's been successful for me. And I have my moments where my phone is off and I'm with my family, and I have, time where I'm not concentrating on business, but I counterbalance that with many times at 4 a.m. doing marketing, many times on Sunday afternoons doing marketing, many times at 6:14 at night on a Tuesday doing a podcast with someone I know and respect. I mean, you have to, the mantra that I like to, preach is obsess to progress.
Right.
You have to be obsessive about it. It's got to be, you got to be totally focused on it. It's not something that you can devote part-time. Even
Right.
if it's a part-time, even if voiceover work is a part-time sort of side hustle, because a lot of voice talent wear two hats. They have the day job and then they're
Right.
voicing things. But your approach to marketing has got to be 24/7, forever on your mind. Approach your marketing very much like a television station.
Right.
Television stations are on the air all day. And they're forever trying to think of new programming to fill those time slots, new episodes, new programs, etc. And if you take that approach like, hey, I have my own little TV station. That's my LinkedIn account, or that's my Instagram account. I got to have my programming on it. And it's not necessarily, hey, here's a picture of what I had for breakfast, or, here's my fun vacation pictures. Not necessarily family album type stuff. You can
Right.
sprinkle that in every now and then, but you think of a way to have a branded message that talks about who you are, what makes you unique.
Right.
I could go on and on and on, Val. Trust me.
I know. I so agree with everything you're saying, and it's so funny because I'm like, oh, you should, I'm here sitting here telling you you should take time off and you should not spend all of your, like, give yourself a break, but I don't actually do that. So it's like me going, you should do this because I'm great at giving other people advice, but then they're like, do you do that? I'm like, no, I don't actually. It'll be like 4 a.m. I can't sleep, and I'm figuring out what my next, plan is going to be for marketing. I can't. I have a hard time turning it off. Like, I can't seem to give myself a break because that's the way my brain thinks. Like, I'm always
That's
like, what
okay.
can I do next?
That
But yeah,
means
I know.
you're
I don't know if it's
passionate.
totally healthy.
You're passionate. That's what it means. You're passionate. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Harness that. Run with that. Be proud of that. That's an
Yeah.
awesome thing. Passion you can't teach. You either have it or you don't.
Right. True. So when it comes to branding, what are some strategies for voice actors to come up with a unique brand that will help to make them more marketable?
So what I usually tell folks is, when you're trying to develop your brand, what makes you unique? What's your special sauce? You want to try not to do it on your own. And that doesn't necessarily, hey, hire me, I can help you with that. Oh, that'd be wonderful. But what I mean is, yeah, it could be a coach, it could be an agent, it could be a trusted voiceover peer. Maybe it's a spouse. Someone you need a mirror. You need someone to tell you what the perception is of you. A lot of times you know how you want to project yourself, but the projection doesn't always match the perception.
Right.
So it's good to get that objective outside feedback, like I said, that mirror, to develop what your image, what your brand, what your unique selling position is. And once you figure that out, with the help of someone, is to stick with it, embrace it.
Right.
It's not something that, well, I'm going to try this and see if it works. You've got to be sold on it before you release the Kraken, as they say.
Right.
You want to run with it. I mean, when, for me, I know when I came up with Go Get It, I said, I'm going to put this on everything. I'm going to say it on all my videos. I'm going to call my podcast Go Get It. You got to stick with it. You can't hedge.
Right.
Don't worry about, I talk to some talent and they're like, wow, I like that, but, I'm not 100% sure. And I'm worried, that I'm going to be talking about me too much. And it's like, that's the whole point. You've got to talk about you. You talk,
Yeah.
as a voiceover talent, you talk about everyone else and get paid to do it. Talk about yourself, and
Right.
you'll get paid to do that too if you do it right.
True.
Make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Cool.
Awesome. Good advice. So, social media platforms, it's like my favorite topic because I spend all day on there. But they're hugely popular now. Instagram is my current favorite. And I find it a little bit of a struggle trying to figure out how to grow my following on there organically. So can you give us a few tips about Instagram and how it works? Because I've tried a bunch of different things and I am growing my following. It just seems like it's taking a really long time. So I wonder if I'm missing something that's key to what I should be doing that I'm not doing. Maybe other people are having the same problem.
Sure. So there's a few different strategies you can employ. First is what I like to call the follow back direct message strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And what that simply means is you seek out particular people to follow that are industry relevant. And then in my experience, about 30% of those people will follow you back.
Okay.
Give or take. Some weeks it might be 40, some weeks it might be 15%. But on average, about 30% of the people you follow will take the time to follow you back. And then once you gain that follower, as soon as it happens, you want to hit them with a direct message. And that direct message is simple. Hey, Val, it's Corey. Thanks for the follow. Let me know if I can help you in any way. And I always like to say include a hyperlink to your website in that direct message. Gives them a reason to see your website, and you can't put a hyperlink in a comment on Instagram. It only works in direct messages.
Got it. Okay.
So that's one thing. So you want to develop those follow backs and then direct message those people to get a dialogue. Another way is to simply interact with people that post under certain hashtags. You can search voiceover, you can search voice talent, you can search audio production, and you want to scroll through those, through those posts. And if you see someone that you either like the content or you want to connect with, you recognize the name, put a comment in there, but make sure that comment is not just the fist,
right.
or the 100% or, the poop emoji, you want to make sure to say something relevant with some substance, that you paid attention to what their post is. And a lot of times that will turn into a follower, and you'll be able to grow your following that way. And another big thing I like to do is I like to use stories. Stories are great.
Yeah.
Instagram stories allow you for sort of rapid fire. When someone scrolls vertically in your post, like in their feed, they see one post at a time, and they may like it. But for whatever reason, I don't know if this is sort of the human nature of the thing, that horizontal scroll of the Instagram story, if you put several different posts in one story, they'll disintegrate after 24 hours, but you will get almost the same amount of views per post. So what I mean is, if you put one post up on Tuesday at 10 o'clock and you get 20 views of that, but then if you put a series of posts up that same day, say you put 10 posts up in your story, you'll get almost 20 views of each, and you'll get 200 views.
Oh, cool.
That's what it's all about, is developing views. Likes are great. Comments are great. You want to continue to get views, just like the old Nielsen ratings with television. You want to get viewership. That's how you create the memorability.
Okay. Cool. That's so exciting to know. Okay. Yeah, I've been trying to put more stories up lately. I feel like some of them are kind of random. I have to make sure they're not totally random. They usually have some relevance to something, but I have to stay more focused, because sometimes I'm like, let's put this. And then I'm like, no, that doesn't have anything to do with anything. Just like.
And have them tell a story.
Yeah.
Let them have some sort of progression. Like if you're going to an event or whatever it is, so you click a few of, you're walking into the venue, you click a few, you get a little video clip at the punch bowl, or you're at the dance floor, or whatever it is, and you put them up in a series, and it's literally a story. Here's what I did today.
Cool. That makes sense. Complete sense. Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Try that. So how about other social media platforms? Do you have any favorites? You seem to be pretty active on LinkedIn. So any tips for us you'd like to offer?
Well, I would say LinkedIn is the Mac Daddy of all social media. If you're not using LinkedIn right, which so many voice talent are not, it's amazing. And I can look at someone's profile, and inside of 5 minutes can pick out generally 10 to 15 things that need to be improved immediately.
Yeah.
But, Instagram, LinkedIn is like the Swiss Army knife of social media platforms.
Cool.
It does so many different things, and it's so underutilized, between having your profile set up correctly, posting media files up. It has a blog function if you use it correctly. use of hashtags, videos, recommendations, the groups you join. There's so many different facets to it. And if you have all those firing on this, all cylinders firing like that, it is amazing. I wake up every morning and there's at least 5 to 10 people wanting to connect with me that I don't even have to solicit anymore.
That's awesome.
Because they're seeing my content, or I get lots of notifications from, whether it's a post that I did that day or a week before. You get instant feedback of what you're doing, and what people are being receptive to, what folks are attracted to. So yeah, LinkedIn is huge. Totally my favorite. I would say Instagram is a close second. And I'm still learning. I mean, even though I was, able to share some tips of what have worked for me on Instagram, I'm still learning. There's some things I'm still trying to figure out on there, some best practices. I use Twitter. Twitter tends to be a little more of some of my personal stuff leaks on Twitter a little bit. Pics of, anniversary dinner with my wife, or my son taking batting practice or hitting a triple or whatever it is. That tends to go on there. But that's okay. It's okay to have that healthy mix. And there's actually a new social media platform that I've been trying to help spread the word about. It's called All Social. And the cool thing about All Social is, Facebook and LinkedIn, you hear that buzzword algorithm. You hear that all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, things don't show up because of the algorithm. Well, the cool thing about All Social is there's no algorithm. Everything you post, 100% of your content is seen by 100% of your connections.
Awesome.
Which is pretty cool. And so I'm just getting my toe in the water with that platform, but so far so good. But that might be something for some of your viewers they might want to try to check out and explore. All Social.
Yeah, definitely. I saw you posted about it the other day, maybe everywhere. I'm not sure. I can't remember if it was everywhere or if I just saw it on LinkedIn, but I kind of made a mental note to myself, I need to check that out, so I'll have to look into that. Not that I need another social media platform, since I spend a ridiculous amount of time on there. I've tried to cut back a little on Twitter. I try to post every day and interact more with people on Twitter than I used to. But, it's Instagram has kind of taken over my life a little bit at the moment. But I try to, it's bad because I won't be able to sleep at night sometimes, and I'll be plotting my next Instagram stuff, and I'm like, this is probably not it's good and bad, you know what I mean? Because it's not helping me sleep better because I'm trying to overthink of stuff.
I get it.
Yeah.
I have those moments where I just can't get a certain piece of content out of my head that I need to type or record or whatever. And hey, look, it's cost of doing business, but it's a fun. But all those platforms are fun, each in their own way. It's amazing that you can communicate with so many people so quickly. Considering that I've been marketing voiceover talent. I remember literally using a typewriter and running to the FedEx box and using a phone with a cord on the end of it to actually call people and ask for their business. So to know that I can communicate with 5,000 people in 5 seconds is really cool.
Yeah, it is. That's what I think I love about Twitter most. I have the biggest following on Twitter out of all my platforms, probably. Well, LinkedIn is probably second as far as followers go, but I feel like if I want to get the word out to a lot of people super fast, I use Twitter for it, or LinkedIn, or both, just because there's so many really active people on there now. And I feel like in the last couple of months especially, I've noticed more people posting voiceover work on Twitter. So it might be independent film companies or video game companies, or there's a lot of people creating their own content now, which is awesome. And so I've gotten auditions off of there, and they've actually panned out to be really good things. So it's exciting to see that people are really building that following on Twitter and interacting more and more with people, real people. They actually do exist somewhere, even if I haven't met them in real life,
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's something for people to kind of look out for, especially on Twitter. And like you said, LinkedIn, I think, is also a place where people post a lot of work that's available. So yeah, cool.
Awesome.
All right. So what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see voice actors make when they're trying to find more work and new clients? And what should they be doing instead? This could be like on social media, or it could be in branding and marketing, or just in general.
So I sort of alluded to this earlier in the conversation, but like the biggest mistake that I see voice talent make over and over and over again, and I try to get on this megaphone here and beat the drum, is that stop asking for business on your posts.
Right,
Meaning, you know, I see so many times, hey, if your e-learning presentation needs a voice, call me.
right,
Or looking for a smooth voice for your commercial, or, you know, I'm a North American male voice talent and I can voice something for you same day. You guys, if you're listening, don't do that.
yeah,
That doesn't work. That gets you tuned out in a hurry. What I try to tell folks is, and bear with me, is to take your time with your social media posting. And time stands for something, T-I-M-E. Posts should either T, teach, I, inform, M, motivate, or E, entertain. So it's an easy way to remember. Am I taking my time with my social? And what, an ask or a sales message or a hire me post does not fit in any of those.
right,
So you always want to take your time with your posts. Now, if you're posting a lot, if you're adhering to this time system that I'm putting out there and you're posting, a post a day, week after week, and occasionally you want to slip in there, hey, I'm available for voiceovers if you want to hire me. That's okay. But
right,
if that's your post anytime you post, you're not doing it right.
right.
So that's a
I've,
big, big thing to avoid.
I've seen a fair amount of people, especially on Twitter, and I don't know if it happens so much on other platforms, but they'll post like the same thing over and over again. Like, I don't know if they delete it every time after a little bit and then repost it, but it'll be like whatever their message is, and it could be something really positive, but they'll post it and then you'll see it like every time they post will be the same thing. It's kind of strange. Like,
To
I feel like
some degree, that's okay.
yeah,
To some degree. I mean, another one of my little sayings is frequency is your friend.
yeah,
You don't know. So keep in mind, they'll say, so you see that post over and over and over again because you're a very active user.
right.
Not everyone uses the platform or uses Twitter or uses LinkedIn at the same rate as the next person. So you
Mm-hmm.
want to keep flooding the zone, so to speak, to get your
Got it.
messages. There comes a sort of maybe a threshold where you might be being obnoxious, but I would say it's okay to repeat the same message, but maybe it's not the same words or the same
Okay.
post over and over again. You want to
Okay.
keep a common theme.
Cool. How about putting your website out there? Like, not every day, but if you, I mean, maybe it's in your profile anyway, your website, but is it okay to post like, hey guys, check out my website every once in a while and say like, so hopefully get some traffic to your website that way? Or is
So
that like a
I would
no?
recommend you can get traffic to your website without necessarily saying, "Hey, this is my website." And let me tell you a couple
Right.
ways. First is you can do what I call a gratitude post, and you make the post where you're either thanking your designer. Oh, Jim Smith is such a great web designer. Check out this work he did on my site. Then you're making it all about the designer, not about your site. Oh, by the way, they're looking at your site too.
Right.
Or, hey, I just posted, 3 new video samples I did this month on my site. Here's the link.
Hmm.
Then it's about your work samples. Or it's, man, I am so grateful to have this client that uses me every week for their e-learning. Here's a new sample I just posted up on my client's page. but you're thanking the client, you're tagging the client, you're bringing them into the conversation, and it's shining a light on someone else instead of trying to take center stage.
Right. So many notes. So funny because every time I do a new episode, I'm like, I'll have like 6 pages of notes after, and everyone's like, I did an interview early on with Mark Scott, and
Oh,
Mark
sure.
was like, he's like, Val, he's like, you're writing so much. He's like, you can just rewatch this, right? And I'm like, yeah, I know,
He
but
makes a good point.
he's like, stop writing so much. I'm like, but I don't want to forget what you're saying. And he's like, oh my gosh, so funny. So, okay. As the Vice President General Manager at Propulsion Media Labs, you play many different roles. One of them is a mentor. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, mentor is not on my business card, but that is a role that I play, not only sort of counseling the employees, pick an issue. It's everything from I need a week off because this happened, or here's a better way to do your job, or there's a problem, let's fix it as a group, or there's that type of management mentoring,
Right.
getting people to pull on the same side of the rope. We also have a pretty official internship program that we've been running for 2 decades there, where we show young people the ropes, and it's not necessarily all the hands-on stuff. Yeah, there's plenty of hands-on opportunities to run cameras and run editing equipment and go on shoots and write copy and all that stuff. But we spend a lot of time teaching young people how to be professional, how to communicate in an office environment. Oddly enough, how to talk on the telephone, because that's a lost art. How to write effective messages, whether that's an email, whether that's a memo. There's a lot of real world kind of how to be professional type learning. We teach them how to do a presentation, like a creative presentation, like a pitch, because they can take that skill with them and do that anywhere. And then just being around for general Q&A. I mean, students who have never, some have never even held a job before. They have questions on how to do X, Y, or Z. And I have an open door policy that an intern can come in and ask me a question, and all of my employees follow the same, example that, let's pay it forward to the interns. So, and I also personally, I do a lot of public speaking. I'll go to high schools and colleges and talk about the benefits of hard work and sweat equity. And I sit on a couple boards, and I have over the years at educational institutions. There's a STEM academy that's in our area that I was on the advisory board for a while, and currently I'm on the employer advisory board at Westchester University. So to help out college students. I feel like if I didn't have those type of people helping me when I was coming up, I wouldn't be in the really cool position that I am literally right now, being considered an authority for a podcast with you. So I feel compelled to pay it forward to the next group.
Yeah, that's so cool. That sounds like a really good program where you're, helping young people get ready for the professional world. I think that's really important because they don't always have parents that are necessarily going to help them with that, or parents that have the knowledge to be able to help them with that. So that's a really good thing.
And a lot of that stuff's not found in the books either, that when they're in
Right.
school. They have to get out in the
Exactly.
real world and mess up and ask questions. So, happy to fulfill that service for them.
Definitely. So what have some of your biggest successes in your career been so far?
Ooh, my goodness. I've been very, very privileged, very blessed. Um, Man, that's a tough question to answer. I mean, we've worked with a lot of big accounts. I've met my share of celebrities, and I'm not going to name drop, but I've broken bread with some pretty famous people, which is pretty cool. Like I said, some high profile accounts I've gotten a chance to work on. I would maybe like to think the biggest success is the longevity.
Mm-hmm.
is being able to be at the same company for so many years and to, take it from its infancy to, you know, I feel comfortable saying we are a powerhouse. We're a factory. I mean, we literally have a velvet rope with hundreds of production projects in line every month. And I speak to other production folk around the country all the time, and not everyone has that luxury, nor do folks really understand the scale of our operation. It's mind blowing. And I'm very proud of that the work that our people do to handle that work day in and day out, month in and month out. So I would probably chalk that up as probably like the biggest success is being able to have a group of employees and coworkers that have been able to share in that success.
Yeah, that's amazing to be able to stay with the same company, like you said, and kind of build it up and help to make it into what you want it to be and follow through with your vision. That's really good.
Of
How
course.
about some obstacles that you've had?
Wow. Well, I mean, the successes generally are a byproduct of overcoming some failure.
Yeah.
And we failed miserably over the years. I mean, we've tried to diversify over the years. At one point, we were saying, we're going to do websites, and when that was hot, and that lasted about a year. And then we tinkered with in the early stages of before apps became apps, we were getting into possibly doing some mobile stuff, and we were just in over our heads. We didn't know what we were doing. And we also made the mistake, I would say, in the early 2000s of kind of delving into the advertising agency world, scheduling media, buying media, and that was just a total catastrophe. And we
Yeah.
we learned the hard way that it's attractive to maybe make a buck a little easier by having an array of services to diversify what you do. But ultimately, we figured out know what you're really good at and just focus on that. And we're really good at making commercials and doing voiceover work.
Yeah.
So we just stuck with that, and thank goodness, because kind of reflecting back on your last question with the successes and with the people that we work for, our business, it's about helping our clients, and that's number one. But it's about mortgages, it's about car payments, it's
Right.
about health benefits. We have people with families, and I take that super serious. Because the work that we do and the revenue that we generate helps our employees have an enjoyable lifestyle, and not everybody can say that, so we're pretty proud of that.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, what are three goals that you have for yourself that you'd like to accomplish in 2019?
Well, I'm hoping to start at third base for the All-Star game in a couple weeks. I'm just kidding. That's more of a dream than a goal. But my goals are pretty modest. Is to continue to have the level of business that we have that affords me the flexibility to be around my family. I
Right.
mean, that's goal 1, 2, and 3 is to make sure I'm at my son's baseball games, to make sure that I'm home for dinner. Pretty simple, modest stuff. I mean, that's what's important to me. That's what I'm shooting for all the time.
Right. Yeah, those are great goals. I mean, I think it is really hard to balance, you know, family time with business time. I'm not great at doing that. I mean, I do it, but I don't know if it's totally balanced because I'm always like, even when I'm with my family, I feel like I'm always working. But for me, it doesn't feel like work because it's just so like you said before, I'm very passionate about what I do. So whether it's me auditioning for, a video game or whatever, a commercial, or whether it's, planning the next part of an event that I'm running or some aspect of my company or some training, it doesn't really matter because I don't feel like it's work. My kids probably feel like it's work because they're like, you're on your phone all the time, Mommy. Really, we're going to take it away from you at some point. I'm like, no, just don't take my phone away. They're like,
Val,
you
let's
need
face
time
it.
out.
Val, let's face it. You have a cool job.
It's a cool job.
You're not. It's not like you're swapping out brakes or digging ditches or, cooking green eggs and ham. I mean, you have a cool job. So, if I had your job, I'd want to do it all the time too.
Thanks. Yeah, my kids, it's pretty fun to. I have to say that one of the cool things about being a voice actor and running a voiceover company at the same time where I'm, hiring people for the event that I run and stuff like that is, having my kids say to their friends, like, hey, did you know my mom did the voiceover for this, talking toy? Or, hey, did you know my mom just hired this person for her event and they're really famous and blah, blah, blah. And it's that's definitely one of the cool things about it, is having your kids say, oh, my mom is, this or that, she did
No
this
doubt.
or that. And yeah,
No doubt.
that's for me the awesome payment, whether it's a paying gig or whether it's just me doing, work to make a good event. So
Sure.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. So can you tell everyone what your website and social media handles are in case they want to reach out to you?
Oh, cool. Shameless plug. Allow me. Real simple. CoreyDissin.com. 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 All the social links are there. Real easy to find me. I mean, I'm sure if you Google me, there'll be just a little bit of content you might find on me.
Awesome.
But yes, certainly if anybody mentions, Val, I will take super good care of you.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. I learned so much. I have pages and pages of notes, even though I could just rewatch this, which I will. But I really appreciate your time, and I hope that everyone watching gets a lot of information out of this. And if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you do that. There will be a link somewhere in this box. I don't know where it's going to be, so just figure it out when you watch it. And all right, we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Val.
Thank you.